Well, this is what you dream about all season long, a chance to get to Chattanooga and play in a national championship series. We are ready to start this best-of-3 championship final. The Grand Valley State Lakers from Allendale, Michigan, out of the GLIAC against the North Georgia Nighthawks from the Peach Belt Conference, just a couple hours down the road in Dahlonega, Georgia. Hi, everybody. Brendan Gulick, Leah Secondo with you. These have been the best two teams this week without a sliver of a doubt. They have survived, in North Georgia's case, Leah, an elimination game, and otherwise they've been unbeaten, and they've managed to win both convincingly and in tight game scenarios. I'm certain that they're ready for this opportunity. Let's take a look at some highlights on how they got here. First, Grand Valley State. A couple of walk-offs, been pretty fun.
Cruising along in game number 1, but 2 and 3, you better hold on to your seats because both of those games were thrillers in the 7th inning, coming away with the victory against UT Tyler 2-1, and then really the game to get to this championship game. What a game. Typical base hit, right? It's in a perfect situation. The obstruction is called, the wait is on, the call is made, and the celebration continues to this championship game number 1. For North Georgia, their path here has been a little bit different. They have ridden Sophie Mooney, and they, too, are in a great situation at probably the deepest pitching staff that Mike Davenport has had since that 2015 run, led by Tybee Denton, who will be in the circle today.
Yeah, and the fact that their pitching depth has led them here is par for the course for this team this year. It's certainly different than what we've seen from Grand Valley State this season, where they've really ridden Hannah Beatis, especially lately. We're underway right on time at 12 noon. We'll tell you a little more about Tybee Denton as she progresses, but they are certainly trusting that she'll get the job done as Caitlin Lynch lays down a bunt, and the first put out is made here this afternoon. Well done by Georgia Blair and the second baseman Hannah Forehand to go over and cover the bag. Here's your starting lineup for the Grand Valley State offensively. Lynch, Cirincione, and Goebel right off the top. Lydia Goebel has been unbelievable, and we'll feature her quite a bit throughout the course of this game. Don't sleep there either on Megan Kennigshaw. She's actually leading the Laker offense in this tournament. 6 hits and 11 at-bats out of the 9-hole. In there for a called strike to Cirincione. Tybee Denton on the season, rock solid. 20-2, this is her 30th appearance, 27th start. 2.09 earned run average. She's thrown 141 innings. Struck out 130, walked 56. Opponents are hitting $168 against her. Denton so far this week has been certainly good enough, although it was Kristen Davis that got them into this championship series. Tybee's been solid this week. She's given up basically 2 big hits that have essentially accounted for all the offense against her, putting a big 3-run homer yesterday to Texas Tyler shortstop Courtney Plochek. That quote-unquote cost him game 1, but they buckled down nicely in game 2.
Well, I think for Tybee, the big thing, too, is that she understands that she's got a staff behind her. She doesn't need to overthrow and try to make things happen. There's depth to make changes. She's going to keep the ball up in the zone today, Brendan, and we'll see how patient Grand Valley State is at the plate.
Defensively, here's the lineup for North Georgia. Jolie Lester in left, Sydney Blair in center, Mariah Wicker in right. Gracie Mixon, Maddie Perry, Hannah Forehand, and Olivia Sinkfield around the diamond. Georgia Blair is catching. Grand Valley State has made 2 errors defensively in 3 games this week, but they enter this particular game with the #1 nationally ranked fielding percentage. In fact, the top 3 defensive teams in the country were all still alive as of yesterday. Grand Valley State is fabulous. North Georgia is also very solid. They're 15th in the country defensively, but you kind of look at this game, you think about, okay, what could separate these teams? You got the star power, you got good pitchers, you got defenses that haven't shot themselves in the foot. It's probably going to come down to something small.
It's going to come down to something small. And
Goebel cracks one into the corner, one hops the fence, base hit. Cirincione, she's going to run through a stop sign, and it worked in her favor. Goebel to third, safe. Grand Valley State, clutch hit number 1.
What a rocket of a shot. We talked about how Denton keeps that ball up in the zone and right in Goebel's wheelhouse. The fence is played all week long very hard, and you've got to be able to understand if you're not going to get that ball on the fly to play it off the hop. It hops right over Lester's head, allowing the base runners to advance for the first run of the game.
Lydia Goebel had the walk-off in Game 2 of the tournament in the 9th inning against Texas Tyler. I am convinced that every time Lydia steps to the plate, she's at least going to hit it hard in play somewhere. And there's no doubt this Grand Valley State offense goes as she goes. But don't forget about Morgan Wagner either, because she's been really solid this season and has a couple of RBIs this week too. By the way, that is Goebel's 3rd double in 4 games here in Chattanooga, and she's now driven in 5. Wagner trying to back it up and hang a crooked number on the board here in the first. In the air to center, should be deep enough to score a run. Player squeezes. Goebel to the plate, standing up. 2-0 Grand Valley State. It's a dream start for the Lakers.
Do your job, let the big bats hit, right? Just needed something to the outfield there, deep enough. A little confidence now for the visitors, getting the jump here early.
Kelsey Camoris to the plate. She's actually driven in 4 runs this week. Prior to Goebel's double, she was tied for the team lead with most RBIs on the biggest stage of the season. Kelsey's been really solid as a first baseman too. Climbs in to try to keep things going against Tybee Denton here in the first. Little flare ball, good play. Gracie Mixon diving into foul ground, puts it away to end the inning. But the Lakers off and rolling quickly. A 1-out walk comes around from Lydia Goebel on a double to the left field corner. And Morgan Wagner with a sacrifice fly. 2-0 GVSU in the middle of the first. Hannah Beatis will take the circle. We'll keep it here during the middle of the innings here to show you some highlights from Hannah's tournament so far. She has been absolutely nasty in the circle.
Nasty isn't the word. Came up with a big striking out the side in the 7th in game number 2. That's highlights there of her first game. But when you think about it, 1.57 ERA in this series. 3 complete games, 23 innings pitched. Most impressive, the 29 Ks. Just masterful. Talking to the teams, regardless of what team you talk to in the hotel, they just are very respectful of what Hannah is doing in the circle.
Beatis, some other notes beyond this particular week of games. Her record 30-1 this year. Her only loss came on March 5th in a game where she gave up 2 hits and 1 unearned run in 6 innings of a 1-0 loss. She struck out 9 that day, and still an unearned run came across against her. But other than that, she's been unblemished. She actually did not allow an earned run over her first 55 2/3 innings this year. That's unbelievable. Oh, Hannah Beatis takes the circle. She's been good this week and throughout the course of the season. The Nighthawks, here's how they're going to try to go up against her with Lester, Perry, Mooney, and Forehand, the top of the order. Mooney and Forehand have driven in 8 of the 10 RBIs that North Georgia's put on the board here this week, and they are certainly dangerous bats in the middle of the order. See if Lester can get them started in the bottom half of the first. Strike one called. By the way, our home plate umpire here in this game is Bill Gattuso, Jenna Bullion at first, and Kevin Condor umpiring down at third. Lester takes a called strike, 0-2. Jolie's had a really solid season offensively, especially out of this leadoff spot. But she hasn't had a great NCAA tournament, just 6 for 30 dating back to the start of regionals, and 3 for 15 this week. Rolls one over into a tough spot, and she beats it at first. Lester, an infield single.
Ciancione from the outfield saying, we got to take a look at this, trying to get Coach Callahan's attention. And they will take a look at it. Difficult at full speed. Wow.
Well, the call on the field is safe, so they've got to have indisputable evidence to overturn it. And if this is the first time you're joining us all week long, each team has 2 replay challenges at their disposal per game. If you win the challenge, you keep it. If you lose it, then you lose it. Let's talk North Georgia for a second here while they look at this. I think outside of Mooney and forehand, they've got to figure out where the rest of the offense is going to come from, because take the full season picture out of it for a second.
Yep.
There's an element of what's going on right now. They've got 26 base hits in their 4 games this tournament. 14 of them have come from Mooney and forehand, so who else is going to step up?
Yeah, they need to get adjusted here as we take a look at this top view.
It is awfully close.
Yeah, it's not, there isn't enough on that angle.
I am inclined to say the call on the field is probably going to stand, but we'll see.
Yeah, getting back to your question, as they continue to look at that play, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. 3 on really have struggled, which is very uncharacteristic of this team, but not uncharacteristic as you move along in tournament play at this highest level of softball. Just making the adjustments as a batter, shorten up on your bat, you know, try to do anything that you possibly can to make that easy contact, with whether it's laying down a bunt, or, you know, you could do things to help your team in different ways. Be a little bit more selective at the plate, but the thing with the pitcher, and especially with the type of pitcher that they are playing against today, every opportunity on the base pass for them is critical, because they aren't going to get too many. Looks like we have a decision.
Safe at first. So Jolie Lester reaches on a single to get started. And to your point, when North Georgia gets on base, they cause some chaos. All 7 of the top 7 hitters in the lineup have double-digit steals, and 6 of them, including Lester, have at least 17 stolen bases. Maddie Perry takes ball 1. Maddie does not have a hit here in the D2 College World Series, but she has walked 4 times. See if she can, at a minimum, move a runner up, if not get something rolling here in the first. Pulled back, no appeal down to first. Jenna Bullion says she didn't go. 2-0. Well, North Georgia gives up 2 runs in the top of the first inning. How will they respond in the home half of the frame? Giannis misses outside, 3-0.
Wow. But again, we go back to, you know, like having a good eye and you know, really making a pitcher work. You've got to understand what type of strike zone you're having.
Perry takes all the way there, 3-1. For as unbelievable as Beatis's numbers are this year, she has been a little bit more hittable in this NCAA tournament. That one's bunted foul and caught the catcher Wagner in a tough way. Oh boy. Hopefully Morgan's all right. I didn't see where that actually caught her.
Might have been right at the top of her, just above her shin guard.
Way to go, Mo! Come on, baby!
Ouch. So the count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runner breaks, little slap foul, just to give you an idea. Again, I said earlier, 55 2/3 innings to start the season without allowing an earned run. And in that stretch, only 1 unearned run. That stretched 9 games plus 2 innings. Well, in the last 5 games, Beatis has allowed multiple runs 3 times as that pitch is upstairs for ball 4. So an infield single on a really good hustle play from Lester. And now a walk for Sophie Mooney. Hollister, Lynch, and Cirincione in the outfield. Koenigshoff, Goebel, Spicer, and Camoris around the diamond with Morgan Wagner catching. And one of the hottest hitters in this tournament at the plate, the Georgia State transfer, Sophie Mooney. 9 for 12 offensively, rolls it to third. And both runners on base move up, but Mooney is quickly retired. 1 out for Hannah Forehand.
A little bit surprised Mooney didn't see one. Trying to get that jump as she comes back now and speak with Forehand.
Hannah not only the national RBI leader this year with 81, but she is the all-time North Georgia program record holder. Can she deliver in a big way here early on? Only one game on the docket today, game 2, and if necessary, game 3 will be here tomorrow. Yadis fires one on the inside corner. 1-1. Hannah has gotten herself out of a couple jams this week.
Certainly has. Keep referring back to that big strikeout of the side in the 7th inning of their 3rd game. It's huge.
Boy, does she need a punch out here. Swing and a miss, got her, strike 3. 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs now for the only senior on this North Georgia roster, Olivia Sinkfield.
Ball just curved right outside. Was looking good, coming down the pipe really hard, and just tailed away.
For whatever reason, Olivia Sinkfield has not been particularly good with runners in scoring position this year. Overall, it happens a lot. She gets lots of chances, and she's driven in 37, but her batting average just $167 in those scenarios. Fouls one at the plate, 1-1, and they need her to come up with something here. You get 2 on in scoring position against a pitcher of this caliber, especially after you give up 2 early. This feels like a pivotal moment despite the fact it's pretty early in the game. Lester at 3rd, Perry at 2nd. Olivia fouls it back.
Right in, attacking her right inside, even deeper than the hands as Olivia chokes up a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes away from her now. No bite there.
2-2. Olivia Sinkfield 2 for 12 this week. She does have an RBI. Just missed the top outside corner, and the count runs full.
Good spot. That's a heck of a spot.
Three and 2. On the ground to 3rd and through, base hit. Koenigshoff couldn't stab it. The tying run came to the plate a little too late, but the tag was high. Perry slides in underneath it. Two-2 ball game as Coach Callahan comes out of the GVSU dugout and asks for a replay review.
Mike Davenport giving the arm raise there, and you called it, Brendan. The ball was there, but the tag was high and sliding right underneath it. They're going to take a look at it anyways.
My inclination is that this is going to get overturned. Just my gut feeling. I think on that last view we just saw, I think Perry, when she slid in, that her foot hovered over the top of the plate without actually hitting it. This is going to be really close. Again, we'll try to show you the best looks we've got. At the moment, Olivia Sinkfield has delivered to tie this thing up at 2. Again, these are the best 2 looks we've got. Let's show you. It's a good throw from Hannah Hollister.
Absolutely.
Maybe her heel did drag across the front.
Yeah. And again, you may think you know the call at home, but what they're looking at in Pittsburgh, if they don't have the right angle on the call,
we'll find out. So 2 critical challenges here in the bottom of the first inning.
especially with 2 outs, everybody going. That's pretty gutsy call with 2 outs and a runner on second. That ball hit so shallow. Now you've allowed Sinkfield to move up if this stands.
Well, one of the few things we were looking at before this game got started could be a separator. North Georgia is ultra aggressive on the base paths.
Yes.
And right now, it appears as though it's paid off for them, but we'll find out if replay upholds the call. Decision forthcoming. Are we tied, or is the inning over? Safe at the plate. 2-2 game. Good call from Bill Gattuso to get it right in real time.
So they keep their challenge. Or excuse me, they lose their challenge. It didn't come from North Georgia, it came from Grand Valley State. They lose their challenge, excuse me.
We've got 1 left. Sydney Blair now fouls it away.
But, you get that whole different feel, right? North Georgia gets on the base paths, and just as Hannah Biatis is strong in the circle for them, North Georgia's strong suit is being able to get those wheels moving and get things chugging around offensively, and that's the dangerous piece. This all started from from that bunt single in the walk.
Fouled away. Hannah Biatis. I mentioned it earlier that she was so dominant until postseason play started. You pretty much couldn't get a run across her whatsoever. Through the end of April, her ERA was .63. There's a swing and miss by Blair over the top of it for an inning-ending strikeout. But now 4 times in the last 5 games, Biatis has at least allowed 2 runs. We are level, 2-2 game after 1. All right, a couple of crooked numbers in the first inning, and now everybody settles in.
Yeah.
Here we go, 2-2 on our way to the second.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing. Everybody taking a breath, and you saw glimmers of what each team does really good when they're really good. Biatis gets those 2 big Ks in that inning, one to finish it off and silence the crowd, and then the Nighthawks being able to run out.
Well, and right away, we set out of the gate, who else is going to step up? We got an early answer. Olivia Sinkfield.
And I think that's big for her mentally as well, right?
Absolutely. Needs a chance to be able to step up as the upperclassman and deliver. All right, Morgan Spicer, Hannah Hollister, and Libby Fair scheduled to bat. 6, 7, 8 in the Laker lineup. The only difference today, by the way, it's the first time we've said Fair's name. That'll be her first at bat of this tournament. Eliana Island had been the designated player all tournament so far, but Island is not in the starting lineup today. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I'll tell you who else this probably benefits most is Tybee Denton, because You never want to give up 2 runs right away at the start of the game, but her offense having her back lets Ty B settle back in.
Yeah, totally. Defense straight away. Wicker a couple of steps deeper in right field. Lester and Blair a couple of steps in, trying to take away that base hit. Corner's tight.
Spicer into the gap in left center, down for a hit, and it's going all the way to the fence. Morgan Spicer, a leadoff double in the second. Spicer's first double here in Chattanooga, second extra base hit.
These hits have been, tagged pretty good, the hits that we've had. And you and I have talked about this all week long. There's a lot of room in those gaps. It'll be interesting to see just how long Mike Davenport lets this leash go on Tybee today. Not because she's off the mark, it's just that Grand Valley is that good of a hitting team and not allowing them to get into a rhythm here with some really solid hits early on and hitting off of her.
Sacrifice bunt from Hollister almost turned into a base hit because she runs so well, but it moves Spicer from second to third. And Libby Fair will bat for the first time this week and do it in a really important spot. Fair this postseason 0 for 9 at the plate with 4 strikeouts. On the year, a .235 hitter. Goes by Libby, but her given name is Liberty Fair. From Clinton High School, sophomore from Tecumseh, Michigan. Fouled away, 1-1. Grand Valley State trying to quickly respond after giving up a couple of runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Kind of feel like this is going to be a punch and counter punch type series. Could be because of great defense and pitching. Early on here, it's because of some clutch hits. Both takes apparently just missed. 2-1. Fair high in the sky, but stays on the infield. Perry lost it. Oh my gosh, the sun gives the Grand Valley State Lakers the lead. You gotta be kidding. I don't think Maddie Perry will keep her sunglasses above her visor for much longer. Oh boy.
Knew it right away too, and that was a dead giveaway to Grand Valley State on that play, and you're absolutely right. That sun's starting to wrap around the right way here, where we have seen it handcuff a couple of players this week.
Well, it's technically an RBI single for Libby Fair. 3-2 Grand Valley State. And now a runner on with 1 out for Megan Koenigshoff. Slaps it into left field, base hit. She continues a terrific week. Now 7 for 12 at the plate out of the 9-hole. Koenigshoff keeps the inning going.
I would think activity would be starting a little bit quicker out there, and it is for North Georgia.
Back to the top of the order, and now Caitlin Lynch, who delivered the walk-off win that sent Grand Valley State to this championship best-of-3 series. Got a base knockout into center field. If you're a North Georgia fan, maybe didn't catch it. Grand Valley, a controversial play at the plate as Lynch lays down a bunt. It's a 1-4 putout as Denton throws over to forehand. Anna Hollister scored because of obstruction at the plate in that game winner. They reviewed it and upheld the call. It was a celebratory but bittersweet moment. Nobody wants to win or lose a game that way.
Sophie Mooney warming up in the bullpen for North Georgia.
Cirincione in the air, carrying to center. Long run, and Sydney Blair grabs it. Heart-stopping moment for UNG, but it's a long, loud out. Grand Valley State strikes in the second, thanks to Mother Nature. 3-2 Lakers. Well, so far, every half inning has seen a run come across. 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors, 2 left for GVSU. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, 1 stranded for North Georgia. Bottom third of the order for the Nighthawks, Wicker, Blair, and Mixon against Hannah Beatis. Hannah needed 24 pitches in that first inning. Olivia Sinkfield, the 2-run single to the left, tied the game at the time at 2. Mariah Wicker chases after it, missed it with a bunt.
Yeah, that's a great spot in the zone by Beatis. Low and away, with a lot of spin on it, good velocity.
Wicker been a little tough at the plate. 1 for 8 this week.
And keeping Wicker off balance, I think, is key, right? I mean, she has so much speed coming out of that box on that left side. If she starts her motion and you can make that ball work just a little bit harder around the plate, it's going to really throw her off balance.
Strike 2 called. That said, Mariah's done pretty well throughout the NCAA tournament. Come up with a couple of big extra base hits. See if you can get the Nighthawks started, because you're right, she is electrifying on the base pads. And not off her at a pitch up and away, 2-2. Waited back on it to bounce it toward Koenigshoff, who quickly gets rid of it. 1 out. Georgia Blair. Georgia's had a great NCAA tournament. Struggled a little bit this week, but been a pretty reliable hitter for North Georgia, not just the last couple weeks, but all season. 43 RBIs out of the 8-hole in your orders. Pretty darn good. Takes a called strike. She's been the everyday catcher for the 62-7 Nighthawks. They now have the best winning percentage in the country after beating Texas Tyler yesterday. That one's up and away, 1-1. Grand Valley State was national runner-up 21 years ago. It's the only other time they've ever played for a national championship in this best-of-3 format. Blair with a somewhat surprising bunt. Probably would have worked out in her favor if it was fair.
And that's what we were talking about at the beginning, right? You had asked me about what does North Georgia need to do to get those bats going throughout the order. You got to think about doing the little things that nobody's expecting, which that doesn't come from a call from Coach Davenport down in the box. You as a batter are sizing up where the infield is and trying to take advantage of play. That's exactly what Georgia was doing right there.
1-2. That was smoked into the gap in left center. Hollister over to cut off a base hit. Goebel mishandled the throw, but it came right to the circle where Beatis was backing it up. Georgia Blair with a solid 1-out single. So 3 base hits through the first 8 hitters for the Nighthawks. as Gracie Mixon comes to the plate, desperate to get going offensively. He's 1 for 9 this week with 1 single. Blair is not a stolen base threat. She's off and rolling. Gobel's tag is in time! What a throw from Morgan Wagner! Blair tried to get aggressive and sneaky. It didn't work.
Good pitch, actually, to throw, and a good job, really great job coming across and presenting. Super job coming across, presenting, and holding on to it.
That would have only been the 7th steal of the year for Blair. Instead, rolled over to Kenningshoff, and the Laker defense gets it done, inning over. Boy, both teams have brought the bats today. This is going to be a lot of fun. 3-2 after 2 on our way to the 3rd. Grand Valley State as the Midwest Region Player of the Year, Lydia Goebel, steps in to lead off in the top of the 3rd. Had an RBI double last time up to put Grand Valley State out front. This NCAA tournament, she has continued to play at an incredibly high clip. She's 11 for 28 in the tournament. That's almost a 400 average with 5 doubles and 8 ribbies. And she never seems to miss the exact middle of the ball. Every time she hits it, it just sounds different coming off her bat. Base hit to start the 3rd.
We're ripping the cover off of it, and every single swing. I was talking to Coach Callahan about it the other day, and when I said that, I said, "Oh my gosh, she turns on a ball, and she just rips it." And she goes, "Yeah, it's like that all the time. Doesn't matter what drill we're doing."
Pretty darn impressive. Morgan Wagner, sac fly last time up. Pops this one in the air, shallow left. Lester calling off Perry, who makes the catch. 1 out. Kelsey Camoris due up here for Grand Valley. It feels like we haven't even really had a chance to breathe at the beginning of this game because the action's been so fast.
Yep.
and
You guys are hyped.
It's been fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you knew these two teams offensively are capable. Look what they've done this year. But it's been a little bit quieter outside of one big early game for Grand Valley. You kind of think when you run into good pitching that typically pitching dominates. We saw that in the middle of this tournament. But the offenses are ready to rock here for this championship final.
And I think much in part to having that breather that day off. Yes, the teams have been in town here since Tuesday, late Tuesday, and it's been a long week, but having the reprieve yesterday and just kind of just chill and relax and get their thoughts back to focus in on this 3-game series, so important. Interesting that Comaris is so far up in the box. I think the activity has ceased in the bullpen for North Georgia.
Kelsey cuts through it, 2-2. One on, one out, middle of the Laker order. Way upstairs, she went after it, fouled it away. Well, Goebel went diving into second. Lydia has not been thrown out all year, 29 of 29. On the ground to first, that's a foul ball.
That's a tough one, too, because in the right job by Sinkfield, it's right there at the bag. So you touch, then you got to tag him at second base. Takes the force off. First and third really tight on the lines.
Kelsey lobs it in the air toward short, where the shortstop, Maddie Perry, flashing those shades underneath the visor this time. We'll reserve all further comments from there.
100%.
Tough moment for Maddie in the top of the second. If you joined us late, the go-ahead run right out for Grand Valley State came because of a pop-up to short that she lost in the sun when her sunglasses were on top of her visor. 0-1 the count to Morgan Spicer, who doubled the left center to open up that second inning and came home to score that run I just referenced. Denton delivers in front of the plate, and Goebel swipes her 30th.
Great job. Nice pitch to be able to steal on, too. Ball low in the zone, bounces. No chance. Goebel taking a breath there. Would have been awfully difficult even on a perfect throw to get Goebel the way that one had bounced into the dirt.
Morgan Spicer pops it up. Very playable. Mixon, the third baseman, not only catches it, but Sinkfield and Denton were both right there to say, if you can't get it, we're right underneath you. Oh, my goodness. High drama, that's for sure. Middle of three. It's 3-2 Grand Valley. Well, top of the order due up for the Nighthawks, who've already scratched across 2 runs on 3 hits against Hannah Beatis. I mentioned it earlier, Hannah throughout the season has been, almost unreasonably good. Her earned run average right this moment is the highest it's been all year at 0.89 through 195 and 2/3 innings. And the reality is, if you kind of look at her game-by-game results, when she sees some really good offensive teams, she'll give up some hits and occasionally some runs. And this week, she's given up 2 runs in a game a couple of times now. You're pretty much never going to get more than 3 against her, though. If you look back all the way through the season, on 3 occasions, she has allowed 3 runs on any given day, but never more than that. North Georgia trying to change that. Goebel, tough play. Oh my gosh, she threw it into the bleachers, it felt like. A tough play on the run. She looks down and said, oh, maybe my hand was sweaty. I don't know. That was un-Goebel-like. Lester's aboard.
Lester's aboard, and I would like to have seen her down at second base if I'm coaching, because as soon as that ball is way overthrown, it came off the side there pretty hot, but she should be down at second base.
They have given Jolie Lester a base hit on that play. Perry shows bunt, pulls back, it misses high. Perry walked and scored in the first. Maddie bunts it foul. Well, if you get leadoff base runners on, your chances of scoring obviously go way up. And if you're the Nighthawks, Lester runs well. If Perry can get a bunt down, you got Mooney and forehand next, you like your chances. Maddie tried to slap this one, and it is foul.
They tried to slapped it foul. I give a lot of credit to Beatis on that pitch. Took something off of it, going to that side, really breaking down the timing of Perry in the box.
Still 2-2. Good job there by Lester, actually, to go back to first base and tag on that.
Be thinking it's going to be difficult for any of those three fielders in the triangle there to come as they're falling away, come back and make that play.
Yeah, especially on a dead sprint. And even if they could, not going to get much on the throw. Lester breaks, the pitch is high, and the throw goes into center field. So a stolen base for Jolie Lester. Tying run in scoring position. Perry's got a full count. This is exactly what North Georgia hoped for.
Pitch a little bit high in the zone. I'm not quite sure if Wagner got caught falling back a little bit where she couldn't get anything on that throw.
Ball 4. Carbon copy of the first inning. First and second, nobody out for the very dangerous Sophie Mooney.
And for as hot as Mooney has been, be interesting to see here if Coach Davenport looks for the sack, or is he going to let Mooney hit away? Outfield giving a little respect, taking a couple of steps back. Again, I think it's important to understand those caroms off that wall, too.
She had a big home run yesterday. She scorches one off Goebel's glove for a hit. The throw comes into the plate. Wagner keeps it in front of her. Bases are loaded for Hannah Forehand.
Giannis wants to have a conversation with her teammates here. Just a ball that's really stung and almost into the wickets. So close. Just a beeline shot before we couldn't gather in.
No, but you know what? At least getting her glove on that kept that from going to the fence.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Yeah, that would have scorched and gone all the way to the wall.
Forehand struck out her last time up. Hannah back to the circle. Beatis gets one. Wagner to first base, where apparently it's not in time because Camoris, I think, dropped the ball. Kelsey was so concerned about the runner at third base and trying to get the ball back to home plate. And I guess she didn't hang on to it. Now the umpires are going to get together and talk about it. They could look at this on their own accord if they wanted.
Yeah, now you take a look at where the play is there, and it certainly is. And she did hold on to it, just got taken out of the play.
There's a warning for a rounding warning for obstruction, it sounded like. Caught just a little bit of that in our crowd mic. All right, so forehand technically reaches on a fielder's choice. Bases are still loaded now for Olivia Sinkfield, whose two-run single last time up gave this a 2-2 tie. On the ground to first and foul. That would have been such a big double play for Grand Valley State if they could have pulled it off. To your point, I almost wonder if Camoris
she's got to be
could have held on to that ball, or it could have been potentially an overturned call. I don't know.
She's got to be going down inside that box, going down the field, and it was pretty borderline of where she was running down as well. But not enough to have it being taken a look at.
0-2. Sinkfield fouls it back. Perry at third, Mooney at second, forehand at first.
And with one out, I'm actually a little bit surprised you see that wide shot of the outfield. Outfield is actually a couple steps in here. Cirincione a little bit deeper out there and right.
Swing and a miss. A huge Beatis strikeout.
Think about taking something off of it. And a ball that started out of the zone and just got further out of the zone.
Could the Nighthawks possibly escape? Bases loaded, nobody out. Sidney Blair. I should say, could the Lakers escape that? Blair trying to make sure it doesn't happen for UNG. On the ground towards second. Spicer throws her out. Unbelievable resiliency on defense from Grand Valley State. A bouncer back to the circle, a strikeout, and an inning-ending ground out. Bases jammed, nobody out. The Nighthawks do not score. Well, it's 3-2 Grand Valley State as we start the top of the fourth inning. GVSU is the visiting team today because North Georgia won the coin toss. They'll flip before each game in this series. It's not a guarantee that Grand Valley would be home tomorrow. Game 2 starts at noon Eastern tomorrow, Wednesday afternoon, May 31st. And if necessary, we'll have a doubleheader tomorrow if the first 2 games of the series are split. Offense has been pretty prominent so far, huh?
Yeah, offense has been, I really thought as we were breaking down where this series was going, I thought it would really be a low-scoring series. But everybody coming out a little refreshed with their hot bats today, putting pressures on these pitchers.
Strike one called inside corner. It's 7-8-9, Hollister Fair and Koenigshoff for Grand Valley.
Somebody woke up the bats.
I was just going to say both pitchers have pitched fine, but the offense has the better number right now as Hollister hits it high in the air, but Mariah Wicker runs it down. One out for Libby Fair.
Next up for Grand Valley, the designated player.
Well, Fair hit a pop-up to shortstop last time up. It should have been a routine out, but it wasn't. Maddie Perry lost it in the sun, and it brought home right now the go-ahead run from third base. Smoked to short. Perry lunges and makes a good grab.
Some beeline shots. Perry, good anticipation there. You see everybody in the infield kind of moving. As soon as that pitch is released, making it look easy going up the hole.
Koenigshoff takes inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Did Megan go? No, says third base umpire Kevin Condor. North Georgia, the 2015 national champions, trying to add another trophy to the trophy case. 2-2. Grand Valley State knows a thing or two as an athletic department about winning natties.
You think? For sure.
Koenigshoff into the air in shallow center, and a nice job by Sidney Blair coming on to make that running catch. 6 straight retired by Ty B. Denton after that bumpy ride in the first and second. She's settling in nicely here. Middle of the fourth, it's still 3-2 GVSU. I just referenced it at the end of last inning. Grand Valley State University as an athletic department, pretty darn impressive. Look at all of these national championships. Lots of different sports, and the reality is they have been right there so many more times. As recently, folks, as last weekend with their women's lacrosse team making it to the Division II lacrosse national semifinals. Lots of indoor and outdoor individual national champions. They've had lots of young men and women competing at the National Swim Championships too. Grand Valley State is quite a powerhouse. They are the reigning Learfield Directors Cup winners in D2 as the most successful athletic department in the country, as Mariah Wicker bounces out to Kelsey Camoris at first base. But you know what you didn't see on the left-hand side of the screen there?
What I didn't see? No.
Softball.
Softball.
They are trying to win their first softball national championship.
Yeah, it's crazy. We've talked about this team. We've seen this team at the different venues through the years here in D2. Our time working together and along the stretch.
Third trip in 4 years.
Yeah. It just shows how difficult it is. And you want to talk about a hungry team right now, and it all starts right there in the circle.
Georgia Blair ripped a single to left field last time up and then was caught stealing at second base. Takes a called strike, even at 1-1. North Georgia, they are elite in every facet. Good off speed, 1 and 2. Perhaps the only area where they might, quote unquote, struggle, they don't hit a lot of home runs, averaging about 1 homer every 5 games. But other than that,
it's a steady team.
I mean, they just hit it everywhere. Yeah. You don't need to hit home runs when you're plugging the gap the way they are and run the bases the way they do.
And this has to be the first day all week, Brendan, as Blair goes down, that the wind is actually blowing out.
Yeah, for sure. Considerably. See Blair chasing one up and above the numbers. So just changed her eye level nicely. 4th strikeout for Beatis. Here's Gracie Mixon. It's another unbelievable day in Chattanooga. I almost feel like somebody's pulling a prank on us.
Yeah.
This whole week has been exactly like this, between 70 and 80 degrees every day. Today it's partly cloudy, but I mean, absolutely no threat of rain whatsoever all week. Hasn't even crossed our mind. It's been just perfect.
It really has been a perfect week, a perfect venue. It's just everything has really been top notch for these student athletes to feel as special as they should be being in this situation.
Fouled off of Mixon's foot. Gracie grounded to third last time up. This North Georgia team have been pretty streaky this year. Hard shot foul up the left-hand side. So we'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. At one point they had 38 wins in a row, and it's not like they were playing an easy schedule. Fouled it back. Just caught the top of the screen there. Ricocheted back down. 9th straight Peach Belt Conference regular season championship for North Georgia. 14 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances. Mike Davenport and his staff once again the regional coaching staff of the year. Full count. Mixon on the ground, back toward the circle. Beatis fields her position well and throws her out. 1, 2, 3 in the fourth for both sides. After some early fireworks, the defense isn't pitching. Settling in nicely, headed to the fifth in a one-run game.
Yeah, do you have any Powerade? Hey, you can have this back here when you get back. Thank you.
Top of the order for the Lakers. First time through, they scored 3 runs on 4 hits. Second time through, they managed just 1 single. Lynch, Cirincione, and Goebel scheduled to bat against Tybee Denton, who has done a good job keeping this thing tight. Right now, there are 2 things I would say the big difference in this game. One of them, the dropped pop-up at shortstop that allowed the 3rd run to score for Grand Valley. Yeah. And the other one, North Georgia had the bases loaded with nobody out in the bottom of the 3rd and did not score.
Yeah, absolutely. That could loom very large, probably just as large for North Georgia as it did on the game that forced us to go to that if game with them, where they tried to push the envelope a little bit early on in the game and had a run cut down at the plate.
Grand Valley, the 5 hits, 2 of them from Goebel, 1 from Spicer, 1 from Fair, and 1 from Koenigshoff. 2-1 on the ground. Second baseman forehand takes care of Caitlin Lynch. Lynch has bunted twice and now ground out. He was 0 for 2 with a sacrifice today. Joanna Cirincione hit a very long fly ball to center field last time up, but unable to bring home a couple of runs. It ended the inning. Joanna check swing, blooper, base hit right field. How about that? Wow. And that's obstruction at first base there. Cirincione was thrown behind and they had tagged her, but Joanna runs into Olivia, and there are some fans not too happy about that. Now the umpires are going to get together. Should there have been obstruction called there? What do you think?
Well, I think that whole scenario kind of stopped just as the play was happening. So there's no doubt in my mind that was a little created there by Cirincione. No doubt in my mind. But, Cirincione is looking to go to second base to make an attempt. Did she make a solid attempt? She made an attempt. She turned a bag, but I think that was a little bit forced on the play.
I mean, Wicker already had the ball. She was right in front of her. So
going
now, theoretically, she also doesn't have to run through the base. She is entitled to round.
Entitled around and make, is the attempt made? No, what I think it was it was kind of a little overdone, personally, for sure. Yeah.
Well, this was not a coach challenge. This was an umpire's review on their own. And they're going to talk with both head coaches at the same time, Dana Callahan and Mike Davenport, and explain to them what's going on. Neither coach looks particularly upset. If we get any clarification on what happened, we'll let you know. My guess, based on the way Mike is talking with Bill Gattuso, is that it's probably going to be allowed to stand. Wouldn't surprise me, though, if there's some kind of a warning issue to Cirincione, though.
Definitely. Yeah. They're actually looks like they're giving a warning. We're going to get clarification from Sally Walker, too, on that. But, you've got to give the base path. I think Sinkfield was anticipating the play, and the play wasn't there. You know, it's very similar to blocking home plate when the ball isn't there.
Sure. Well, it's a big deal now because there's a base runner for Lydia Goebel.
Yep.
Lydia Goebel, pretty arguably the best hitter in this tournament. Today she's 2 for 2, and she has tattooed it twice. Down and away. An RBI double to the left field corner in the first inning. And she hit the cover off the ball almost literally. Last time up and a single to center. It would be a massive mistake if Denton misses over the plate here. At least make her work for it. High pop-up out of play, foul. We'll get into the seats.
You're good, lad. Let's go, baby.
Lydia Goebel from Schoolcraft, Michigan. She and Hannah Beatis have been...
I think more like Toolcraft, Michigan, the way she's been able to hit the ball.
Runner breaks. Why in the world did Joanna Cirincione run with a 3-1 count on their best hitter? That was an extremely aggressive play. Bites the Lakers.
Yeah, obviously, something was missed there, or Lynch felt that she was seeing something, but best bat in the lineup at the plate here with a 3-1 advantage.
Fouled it away, 3-2. I mean, I guess I understand the idea of trying to get into scoring position for her, but I just don't feel like this is the player you take that risk with.
Exactly.
North Georgia trying to get out of this thing without any damage. Ball 4. Walking Goebel with the bases empty is no big deal.
No. Keep it high and away from her. You know she's smart in the box. You've got 2 outs.
Abby Denton continues to work now with Morgan Wagner climbing in. Meanwhile, Sophie Mooney is warming up in the bullpen for the Nighthawks. Wagner watches upstairs. Mooney came on in relief in their second game in this tournament, where the Nighthawks beat Central Oklahoma 6-3. Mooney threw 3 1/3 in that game. Inside, 2-0.
I think Denton a little bit upset with herself too. She knows that she doesn't want to let Wagner get away here.
This is pitching coach Aaliyah White coming out to the circle. Well, in this game, I think it's actually been the Lakers that have been a little bit more aggressive on the base paths than even North Georgia. And that's kind of the name of the game for their offense. Perhaps a bit surprising there from GVSU. Look, it's not that Cirincione's incapable. She's a really good base runner. I just situationally surprised to see that. It's only the second time Joanna's been caught stealing all year. She's got 26 steals. She's out by a mile there. Wagner taking all the way. It's 2-1. Grand Valley State leads at 3-2. One of those runs came home when Wagner hit a sac fly in the first. Denton's pitch misses outside. 3-1. Hard grounder toward short. Perry throws it high, but Sinkfield applies the tag. Well done defensively by Olivia over at first base. Middle of the 5th. North Georgia gets through the toughest part of the order without giving up a run. up the street from the ballpark here at Frost Stadium. Such a beautiful setting, and of course yesterday decorated with American flags at every one of those headstones all across that cemetery. I think the earliest headstone I saw yesterday had a date of a death date of 1810. National Cemetery System. There are several big ones across the country, and certainly the one at Chattanooga not quite as large as the most famous national cemetery in Arlington, Virginia, but it is just as beautiful. Thousands of unmarked graves here in Chattanooga, in addition to the more than 50,000 graves that are marked. And after we celebrated Memorial Day, just again, we are so grateful for the service to our country that so many paid the ultimate sacrifice for. This is a town that has a lot of war history, even if you go back and look in the Civil War in the 1860s. There's a lot of history here. Sharp ground ball that ate up Goebel, and a leadoff base runner for North Georgia here in the bottom of the 5th. Lester aboard. Lester's been on all 3 times. Maddie Perry has walked twice. Thought about bunting, but pulled back after it missed.
Well, the players had talked earlier in the week about how bouncy this field was, and that was just a ball that handcuffed, a little short hop on Goebel. That may have hit her bat twice.
I thought that hit her bat a second time.
Totally.
It sure did, and first base umpire Jenna
totally
Bullion recognized it right away.
Totally did.
Coach Davenport wasn't happy down in the third base box, but that's the right call. They're officially, by the way, ruling that an error that allowed Lester to reach.
1, 2.
So it's a foul ball, and the count is 1-1 on Maddie Perry. She fouls this one back. Tough break there.
Yep,
she was trying to pull it back.
Yep.
Just sometimes that happens. Lester can run really well at first. They're trying to get the tying run in scoring position with Mooney and forehand due up next. Two and two. You know, unlike yesterday where both of these pitchers probably, I should say 2 days ago, where both pitchers probably had more stress-free innings than you would have normally expected, this has been high tension literally right from the get-go. Perry on the ground to Goebel, eats that one up, and she gets the out at second base just in the nick of time. Goebel to Spicer to erase Lester.
That's pretty gutsy there by Goebel, too, because that ball was starting to handcuff her a little bit. She had charged it, trying to pick it up on the short hop. Her momentum is kind of carrying her in a better situation to go towards first base, but cutting off that potential tying run at second.
Mooney chops it off the plate. It is a foul ball.
Wagner had no clue where it was. Hannah was ready to pick that one up and rip it down to first base. And quickly telling Wagner to let it go. It's the right call. Certainly, again, on the artificial playing surface that the players are working with.
Mooney 1 for 2 with an infield single. 10 for 14 in this tournament.
Nope.
Sophie Mooney can do it all. This young lady is certainly one of the, I would say, 5 best players in the country. And unquestionably one of the best players here this week.
Your stock rises above so many players that coaches are looking at when they're going to tournaments for your ability to provide them different aspects. Certainly as a hitter, this young lady's able to pitch, play the field, multiple positions. I mean, it's just a any collegiate coach, no matter what level you're playing at, is going to gravitate to a player like that to discuss scholarships.
High and tight. Wagner's throw on the steal is not in time. Lester just barely got her hand on the bag before Goebel tagged her left foot. I beg your pardon, Maddie Perry with the steal, not Lester. 22nd steal for Perry.
Yeah, good ball to go on high in the zone. Perry easily getting in there, even though she did the Superman slide and nearly got caught in the leg.
2-2 to Mooney, misses outside, and at this point, now that you've given up that base, walking Mooney is not a huge deal, even though Hannah forehand can also hit really well on deck. Tag to right field, right at Cirincione. The runner's tagging and going to third. Safely so, but there's 2 outs. Good piece of hitting there from Mooney, who has not been afraid to take the ball the other way with some pop this week.
And a quick tag there. Nice job by Perry to get back. This is a great angle of it here.
Well, Hannah forehand, can she come up in the clutch?
Ooh.
Ouch. Just barely nicked her. Hit by pitch puts her at first. And now it's up to Olivia Sinkfield. Now, on the year, forehand has been a better hitter than Sinkfield, but Olivia delivered the 2-out RBI hit in the first inning.
A very sharply hit ball, probably one of the best balls that she's hit all championship series.
Tying run at third. Olivia takes strike one. Boy, Beatis has really had to work around some tough scenarios. North Georgia had the bases loaded with nobody out in the third and did not play to run. Sinkfield struck out in that occasion. Off the handle of the bat, into no man's land, base hit, tie game. You don't always have to hit it hard, you just got to hit them where they're not.
The newspaper tomorrow said had a base hit. Didn't say where that base hit landed. It was good for a run. That's in that no man's land. Little Bermuda Triangle right there as well. No chance at all. As Perry comes across easily here.
3 RBIs for Olivia Sinkfield. This one scorched to right. It's kicked away. Cirincione can't handle it. Forehand scores. Here comes Olivia. Safe. Sydney Blair puts the Nighthawks out front.
One swing of the bat. We talk about the aggressive base running that North Georgia has. Now, Cirincione is trying to do whatever she can to keep that ball in front of her, and she does a good job doing it. Unfortunately, it bounces away from her on the play.
A 2-run triple to right field for Sydney Blair. That was a really tough play for Cirincione. Had to come in hard, sliding to try to make that catch. And unfortunately for her, when she didn't catch it, the ball rolled a good bit away.
Oh, it certainly did. And into an area where there was nobody even there to help back her up.
Now Mariah Wicker. 1-0. Hannah Beatis hasn't given up 5 runs in a game in a long, long time.
This all coming with 2 outs.
Last time that happened, May 8th last year against Saginaw Valley. Wicker fouls it back. 2-1. North Georgia gave up 2 runs in the first, got 2 back. Gave up a really tough luck run in the second, scratching and clawing, trying to come up with a big answer. It's taken him a couple of innings, but the Nighthawk offense has delivered. Wicker with a drive, ranging back, running out of room. Mariah Wicker, you betcha! 7-3 North Georgia.
Wow. Talked about the wind blowing out for the first time this week. Wicker goes down and gets it. The ball in the meat part of the zone, up and outside. And dead center field. How about that?
The Nighthawks, again, they're pretty unlikely to hit homers, averaging about 1 every 5 games. But it is the 12th home run of the season for Wicker. Over the dead center field fence. How does Beatis handle the stress put on her here? 5 runs in the inning on 3 hits. (7-3) North Georgia after Wicker's 2-run homer. It just goes to show how costly errors are. All 5 runs this inning are unearned. Grand Valley opened the inning with an error on Goebel at short. And it's extended the frame long enough for Sydney Blair and Mariah Wicker to blow this open. 3 straight run-producing hits. Georgia Blair 1 for 2 with a single. And she hits it up the middle. 9th hit allowed. The inning stays alive. The only team to beat Beatis this year came back on March 5th. Just missed it. St. Cloud got to Hannah for 1 unearned run on 2 hits over 6 innings in a 1-0 win. It was the team's 4th game of the year. North Georgia has thumped arguably the best pitcher in the country, and they've done it on the absolute biggest stage. What a performance. Gracie Mixon, the 9th Nighthawk to bat in the 5th. Pops it up, might be playable for Wagner, and it is. Inning over. What a frame, an inning that frankly Nighthawk fans won't forget for a long time. 5 runs on 4 hits, including a 2-run triple from Blair and a 2-run homer from Wicker. The Nighthawks lead it 7-3. What a ball game. Game 1 in this best-of-3 championship final has not exactly gone true to form. 2 teams that have great pitching staffs and 2 excellent pitchers today, but it's been their highly touted offenses that have performed at a high level. Grand Valley State, how will they respond after their, frankly, first big piece of adversity this whole tournament, not just today? A 5-run 5th for North Georgia. Camoris, Spicer, and Hollister against Tybee Denton. Chelsea Camoris 0 for 2. And a line out to third and a pop out to shortstop.
I think this is a big inning, whatever side of the coin you're going for, right? If you're North Georgia, looking to keep those bats quiet, you give up one, okay. If you're Grand Valley, you need to get something here to kind of get your offensive juices going, get back to everything you accomplished in those first 2 innings of play. Denton is kind of bared down here just a little bit, Brendan. I think, since the start of the game, there was activity twice. They've gone back out to the bullpen once again as Mooney is warming up out there.
One ball and 2 strikes. Tybee Denton gave up 3 runs on 4 hits through the first 2 innings. Over the last 3, she has scattered 2 singles and a walk, and at one point retired 7 in a row. But most importantly, no runs across, and she's only had a runner reach second base on 1 occasion. Two. Wow. Didn't miss by much. Blair couldn't believe it.
Just if you want to be particular, I guess the little shade below the zone.
Camoris swings over the top. It's a strikeout. One gone. Morgan Spicer doubled and scored what at the time was the go-ahead run in the second. She has since popped out. I'll tell you who I think is probably the most relieved Nighthawk, Maddie Perry.
Yeah, totally.
They have picked her up in a big way. Good bunt from Spicer. It's ruled a fair ball right out in front of home plate. Fair by a few inches. Morgan is put out.
2 good things happen on that play. You do exactly what you want to do, right? And I think Coach Callahan is going to ask them to take a look at it. 2 things happen on the play, right? One, the bobble and Blair keeping control of it to then make the throw down to first, and forehand, getting to the bag and finding the bag for the out call. Might as well use it.
Yeah, you know what?
I got 1 left.
I think that may be an umpire challenge because Bill Gattuso tapped his own chest and then signaled to the headsets.
And that has been clarified. It is an umpire challenge.
Well, obviously, if you're Grand Valley, you're looking at this saying, hey, we're starting to count outs here. You got to get some base runners. Here's our best look.
Look at her make that, well, kind of goes away there, but definitely holds the foot. Was that ball initially foul? It was, he pointed right away, being fair. And again, if they're looking at the fair foul piece, which again, we'll try to get clarification on that. That's going to be interesting because if they don't have the video to change the call, they've got to stay with the call.
Well, the ball definitely was bunted in fair territory in front of the plate, but the backspin carried it back, and I think Coach Callahan's argument was Georgia Blair was standing behind home plate in foul territory when she grabbed the ball with her bare hand out of the air there.
Yeah, but as you know, it's where the ball is and not where the person is. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know that they have the angle to change what they need to change here.
I think she grabs that when the ball's behind home plate there.
I agree. This is going to be a tough angle too.
Yeah, the best angle we've got, I think, is that third base camera, which...
Yeah, and he's pointing right away. So...
Okay, well, we'll see what they decide.
Yeah.
Pretty meaningful for the Lakers here. It's either bases empty, 2 outs, or they get a runner, or I should say Spicer comes back to the plate after a foul ball. It would be a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Spicer should it be overturned to a foul ball. Long look, a lot of consideration. Just a reminder, this is game 1 in a best of 3. Game 2, and if necessary, game 3 are tomorrow.
I'm very surprised we've had 15 hits. Can I just tell you?
Absolutely.
I thought we would have a little bit more of a pitcher's duel, and
I wasn't sure if we'd have 15 total hits in a 3-game series.
Yeah, I agree.
Not because they're not capable. I just,
just
what we've seen from Hannah and
defensively,
Tybee and Kristen this week pitching.
Absolutely.
This has been,
coaches, I'm sure, are happy that the hidden shoes have come out.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And it's been fun to watch. And, you know, we asked before the game who else would deliver outside of Goebel, Wagner, Mooney, and forehand. And the reality is the answer's been a lot. Sinkfield, Blair, and Wicker have all the RBIs. They have overruled it to a foul ball. So the count is 1-1. It was picked up in foul ground behind home plate. All right, Morgan Spicer. A 1-1 count. North Georgia's had some pretty clutch hits today, both with runners in scoring position and with 2 outs. Spicer past the diving Wicker, extra bases. How many, though? Just 1 as she slides in with a double. How's that for a reversal of fortune?
That is a solid reversal of fortune for the Lakers. And I like the fact about being aggressive there off of that first pitch and going right at it. Wicker doing a good job in right field as well. Keep that ball somewhat in front. But now things get a little interesting here with just 1 out and a runner at second base.
Hannah Hollister, sac bunt and a fly out on her line today.
Everybody's moving, right? Back up by Blair in center, back up by Lester out there in left. Outfield a couple steps in.
A lot of pressure on the defense here. Base hit right field. Wicker's throw cut off. Good defense. Hollister a single to right field. Spicer stops at third. 2 on, 1 out. Hannah Beatis and Tybee Denton, in their own ways, have been really good this year. Not necessarily. Central Oklahoma. Mooney's numbers for the season in the circle, 10-2. This is her 28th appearance. She's got a 234. Most of the time she comes on in situations like this, but she has made 3 starts. 88 1/3 innings of work, third most on the team. She's averaging about a strikeout an inning and a walk every other inning. But opponents are hitting just 155 against her. She can get a little wild. She's thrown 15 wild pitches and hit 15 batters. So you might get some chances Right now, Libby Fair, who is playing in her first game of this Division II College World Series, going to get a new look.
Bartender job.
Fair hit the pop-up to short that ended up being an RBI single because Perry lost it in the sun. And last time up, Libby Fair cracked a very sharp line drive to shortstop.
Dropping the change in her repertoire. This is first and third situation with some mobility. See if the Lakers play it conservatively. Try to go after it.
Fair takes outside. High and tight. Some adrenaline-induced moments here for both teams. Grand Valley State just gave up 5 in the bottom of the 5th. Not only to give up the lead, but quite a cushion for North Georgia. 2-0 to Fair. In there for a strike, 2-1. Spicer doubled. Hollister singled. Really good contact hitter in Kenningshoff waiting next. On the ground to short. Perry handles, throws to second. They come home with it. Out at the plate. How about that double play? 6-4-2. What a defensive play. Spicer hesitated, waiting to see where Goebel would go with, where.
Taking away from the threat here in the 6th on a sharply hit ball. And I think even the defense from North Georgia, if you're coming across the bag, Brendan, you know you're kind of going away from the play. Would have been difficult for them to turn 2 to first base. But I think you catch it out of the corner of your eye and going, oh my goodness, we may have an opportunity here at the plate. And the Nighthawks turning 2, getting out of the inning. That was huge.
North Georgia. This might be their last at bat of the game. And they add to their lead. I'll tell you what, if you're a Grand Valley fan watching this, on top of the fact that that's a tough way to swallow the end of that inning, I don't think you would have believed me if I told you beforehand that Beatis would give up 7 runs on 9 hits.
I would, never would have anticipated that here. Mike Davenport would have believed.
The last time Beatis gave up more than 6 runs in a game was early in the season last year. She got tagged for 8 against Ashland on March 21st last season. She had a couple of performances where she gave up 5 or 6, but this unfortunately is the toughest outing she's had in quite a while. And that said, again, all 5 in the 5th were unearned runs. Grand Valley State has been very good defensively. They entered the day as the #1 defense in the country in terms of fielding percentage overall. But a very costly error to open the 5th inning. All 5 runs came across with 2 outs. This one's chopped off the plate, out towards second. 1 out. Good work there from Spicer. Jolie Lester out #1. And now Maddie Perry.
For shortstop, number 14, Maddie Perry.
9-1-2 scheduled to bat for the Lakers in the top of the 7th. So they'll have to get a base runner on if they want Goebel to hit. Look there at Maddie Perry. He's walked twice and reached on a fielder's choice. Meanwhile, Kristen Davis starting to loosen for the Nighthawks. Ball one. Just missed, 2-1. Three balls and a strike. Last year in this game, the opening game of the championship series out in Denver, we had a walk-off game-winning homer. There's some serious fireworks that day too. Callie Yellen from Rogers State hit a pinch hit walk-off home run. What ended up giving Rogers State a 1-0 lead, and they went on to win the national championship. North Georgia with some big 2-out magic today. They've driven in all 7 runs after the first 2 outs of the inning. Perry aboard for Mooney. Sophie back. Two gone for Hannah Forehand. By the way, Perry's walked 3 times today. How about that?
Yeah.
Hasn't hit it great this week, but finding other ways to get on base.
Absolutely, and that's what, we talked about at the beginning. You asked me about that middle of the order, basically from 3 down, struggling a little bit in this series.
Forehand fouls it away. Maddie Perry this week is 0 for 8 with 7 walks. Any way you can. Perry's at second, forehand at the plate, hitless today. Off the handle of the bat. Good diving effort by Koenigshoff, because if she doesn't catch that, forehand's going to reach safely. All right, 6 innings complete. North Georgia all over the Lakers. They need 3 outs to take a big 1-0 lead in this championship best of 3. This is the kind of thing that fairy tales are written about. 2013, Mike Davenport came to the Chattanooga Sports Commission and recommended, hey, you guys should really look at hosting this national championship event. They weren't quite ready for it. The opportunity presented itself again in 2019. Obviously, COVID hit in 2020 and things clamped down for a bit, but Chattanooga said, no, we're ready. We are capable of hosting events like this. We've done it before. Team USA had come here. We've got the facility. We've got everything we need to host your cornerstone event in the NCAA. And later in 2020, Chattanooga was awarded the bid, and now it's North Georgia with a team that has been here time and time again, unable to get to this best-of-3 finals. Last year, they were in the semis and lost the doubleheader when they only needed to win 1. They lost game 1 yesterday, came back and won game 2 over Texas Tyler, so they punched their ticket to play against the Lakers. And they are making the most of this opportunity. 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors. 2 runs in the first after giving up 2 in the top of the frame, and a 5-run fifth. All 7 score with 2 outs against the best pitcher in the country.
Well, and we will go to Orlando next year for the championship, but Mike Davenport's vision years back when he had his thought process to sit down with the people here in Chattanooga was to make, hopefully someday, Chattanooga the same type of feel and venue as Oklahoma City, and make this the site where fans know in D2 that they can come to every year. The folks here in Chattanooga have done everything they possibly can. Put in new lighting, which we didn't get an opportunity to see this week, LED lighting, new surface, new scoreboard. They've really rolled out the red carpet nicely for all the teams.
Kenningshoff swings and misses at strike 3. Yeah, the games have been played under perfect weather and during the day, so the lights have only come on for a brief moment, but never really took much effect. As you see the first out here in the 7th. And it's not going to be over today no matter who wins this game, but North Georgia looking to take a serious advantage into tomorrow. Caitlin Lynch swings and misses. Lynch has not gotten a base hit, 0 for 2, bunted once to try and bunt her way on for a hit, and then had a sac bunt in the 2nd inning. Grounded out to second last time up. Caitlin had the game-winning walk-off RBI hit, not yesterday, but on Sunday afternoon. Lakers need a base runner if they want to try to get Lydia Goebel to the plate. Tybee Denton was solid through 5 1/3. Mooney's gotten the last 3 outs, including an odd but fortuitous double play in the 6th. I think it's been a fun game because it hasn't been that predictable, right? It's kind of kept everybody on the edge of their seat all afternoon.
Yeah.
A lot of unusual plays. Good clutch hitting for sure. The Lakers have a little more late magic. 2 straight walk-off wins. Lynch chops it foul. A 2-1 walk-off win in the 9th inning over Texas Tyler. And then they beat Central Oklahoma 3-2 on a walk-off in the bottom of the 7th on Sunday. Wastes another one. She's not throwing at the moment, but Kristen Davis was in the bullpen a bit ago, and I'm sure if they decided they needed to make a change, the Nighthawks could quickly go to Kristen. No reason, though, that Sophie would need to be rushed out. She's pitching fine. Just a lot of depth for UNG in the circle. Two outs. Mixon snared it before it hit the turf. Joanna Cirincione walked and scored, flown out to the warning track in dead center, and she's been caught stealing after singling last time up. On the ground to short, Maddie Perry throws out Cirincione. Ball game. Advantage, North Georgia. The Nighthawks are 1 win away from a national championship.
UNG getting the hitting shoes on today with those 9 hits, falling behind early in that first inning, making the changes, finding a way to get to Hannah Beatis, and then contributing that big 5-run 5th. Certainly the difference, being able to do what they like to do, push runners along, take advantage of the extra base, and now just 1 win away from a national championship.
Final line score, Grand Valley State, 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error, and 5 runners left on base. North Georgia, 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors. They stranded 6. The winning pitcher is Tybee Denton. She goes 5 1/3, gives up 3 runs on 8 hits with 2 walks and a strikeout. 79 pitches, 47 for strikes. And for the first time since March 5th, the losing pitcher is Hannah Beatis. Tough day for Hannah. Gave up 7 runs on 9 hits over 6 innings, but it certainly wasn't all on her shoulders. Only 2 of those 7 runs were earned. Hannah struck out 4, walked 3, and hit 1 batter. She threw 107 pitches, 69 for strikes. No save. Time of the game was 1 hour and 53 minutes. The attendance was 550. Wow, what a day. 2 runs in the top of the first inning for Grand Valley. Lydia Goebel, Morgan Wagner delivered. The Laker lead was not long-lasting, though. Olivia Sinkfield, a 2-out RBI single to left field, tied the game. Grand Valley got its 3rd and ultimately final run in the top of the 2nd when Libby Fair popped up to shortstop with Morgan Spicer at 3rd base. Maddie Perry lost it in the sun. The ball fell harmlessly to the turf, and Spicer gave the Lakers the lead. In the bottom of the 3rd inning, the Nighthawks left the bases loaded. They had bases loaded, nobody out, and didn't score, and that looked like it could be really painful. But they kept on fighting, and in the 5th inning, Lester reached on an error by Goebel to start the inning. Seemed harmless enough at the time. Maddie Perry reached on a fielder's choice. Lester put out at 2nd base. Then Sophie Mooney flew out to right field and advanced Perry to 3rd. It was a runner at 3rd with 2 outs. Grand Valley still led 3-2, and that's when things unraveled. Forehand hit by a pitch. Sinkfield, a soft single behind the circle, tied the game. Then Sydney Blair with a 2-run triple to right. Mariah Wicker, a 2-run homer to straightaway center field. It escalated quickly. North Georgia scored 7 runs in the game, 5 in that bottom of the 5th, and Grand Valley State could not plate anything further. So as we get ready for our national championship finals tomorrow, it's the North Georgia Nighthawks from the Peach Belt Conference, only needing to win once. Grand Valley State, it'll be a tough night's sleep, but they could sweep a doubleheader tomorrow and still win the national championship. Thanks to our entire production crew. For Leah Secondo, I'm Brendan Gulick. Cannot wait to see you tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern, right here in Chattanooga. If we need a Game 3, it'll happen 30 minutes after Game 2 wraps up. Have a great night, everybody. North Georgia 7-3. They've got the advantage. See you tomorrow on NCAA.com.